Hi everybody, I'm Ashley and you're Kickin with Ash. And today we are going to do a Q&A with me. I had one of my students, we did this previously with my student. Unfortunately, the audio sucked and you guys couldn't hear any of it. So we are retaping this with my friend Kim. So we got to give a quick shout out to Sheldon for taking time out with me on a weekend at Auburn Park. It was great to do this with me. So Sheldon, thank you. But we're going to go ahead and get started with these questions so you can learn more about me, and I hope you like the information that there is.
All right, let's start with the first question. What made you want to be an advisor?
So what made me want to be an advisor was the fact that at that current time I was working in housing and I got pregnant. And I was told that I couldn't live in housing with my son, which is perfectly fine because every school is different. So I had to make a decision on what I was going to do, and my mom was like, come back to Atlanta, we can help you there. So it was more of a personal choice than a professional choice, just because of the support that my mom was going to give me. But I had to figure out what was going to be my next move. I gave my all to housing and first year experience, but now becoming a mom, I wanted to put my all in my kid, but also balance it with my students. So when I was looking about jobs in higher education, academic advising kind of just fell in my lap, and I was fortunate enough to get hired at Georgia State, and so I did make that transitional move to Atlanta, and I became an academic advisor, which was just really easy for me to do, to be quite honest.
How is your life as an advisor?
Life as an advisor is interesting. Every day is a different student, it's a different situation, and for me, I love that because it gives me the opportunity to not only get to know my students, but to figure out the disconnect in their journey and help them reconnect their journey back to where they're going so they can continue it on. A lot of students don't have that support, and I wanted to make sure they have that support, they have that cheerleader, that pusher, that person that they know she's going to make sure I'm moving in the right direction. Some students come in with some bad, funky attitudes, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna check you at the door because I'm not here for your attitude, I'm here to help you. What I do though to figure out how students are feeling, hey, how you doing? How was your day? How was your weekend? I try to get to know you guys because if I build a relationship with you, one, the attitude kind of goes away. Two, you open up a lot more to me, and then that allows me to know more about you to help you either formulate a new dream, help you get back connected to your original dream, or to blow your dream up even bigger. Okay, so as an advisor, each day is different, but I take on each day with freshness, with energy, and with excitement because I enjoy seeing each and one of my students because I know they need something from me, and I'm here to help them.
Or your babies, as you call them.
Yes, my babies. No matter how old you are, you're still my baby.
Do you face any problems or difficulties in your department?
Yes and no. There's always difficulties and challenges in whatever department you work in, especially in advising. It can be challenging. Advising is a majority of the schools is centralized, so it's not only maybe student issues you may be dealing with, but it could be coworker, colleague, supervisor, management. For me, I pick and choose my battles. I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. And so depending on who my boss is, depending on who I'm working with, at the end of the day, when I come in every day, I give everybody the same level of respect. I do expect the same, but I know everybody won't give me the same. And that is the difference everybody really needs to understand. Everybody's not going to give you the same level of respect that you're going to give them, but you also have to pick and choose your battles. And at each job I've been at, I had to pick and choose my battles because some people will come after you, mainly because they may not just like you, point blank period. Sometimes they have a hidden agenda. Sometimes the students are just pissed at you and they want to get you in trouble, even though you gave them the right information. So it ebbs and flows. I would definitely say if you have a great support team, it makes it easy. It makes each day go by better and stronger. You're supporting each other as a team, but then you're supporting the students as well. So yes, do the department has problems? Yes, every department has a problem, but it really just comes down to who you are as a person, who your supervisor is, and who your team is.
So let's jump to this question because that kind of goes along with it.
Okay.
You attended 3 different colleges.
Yes.
So how were your advisors between those colleges, and did that have any influence on the way that you handle the job of being an advisor?
So yes, you guys, 3 different schools. So first school, she was wonderful. I was a, I wasn't hard for her because I knew what I wanted. I knew my purpose at school. So I did go into my freshman year trying my best, and I did. And the crazy thing is, a student interrupted my advising session, and she ended up getting chewed out because she failed every class. She was a party girl and did not go to class. And the advisor went in on her right there in front of me, and I was like, oh, so sorry. So that was an interesting experience, but I liked her tact because my thing is, not every student is going to like how you go about it, but let's just be real and honest. For me, I would rather you come at me how I need you to come at me than pacify me. I don't need anybody to pacify me. I'm a strong woman. I can handle what you need to bring to me. It's going to hurt and it's going to sting, but I need to know. And I take that same approach with my students. I don't pacify. I don't have time to pacify. You don't have time to pacify, and I'm just not going to do that to you. My advisor at UNO, to be quite honest, I don't remember. So that tells you a lot in itself right there. I will say it was faculty, and I remember that just because at that time, this was early 2000s, there wasn't not a lot of schools that were centralized advising. So it was in the department. So unfortunately, I did not know that particular advisor. But I will say my third advisor, another faculty member, he was also the chair of the department. I knew him. I don't know if I knew him because of my dealings with Katrina, and because you got to understand, with me being a Katrina baby and moving to another state and location, and they knew that, everybody knew that. So it was more so for me, it doesn't matter. He was my professor, but he was also my professor. So when I came in to get advised, another thing, I'm proactive. So when I went in to get advised, I already said, here's my classes. This is what I want to take. He was like, okay, cool, Ashley, I like this. You can take this, this, and this. And then he explained to me why I couldn't take a certain thing. And I was like, okay, that's no problem. So out of all 3, I would definitely say I tried to stay away from the second advisor's approach, meaning they didn't do anything for me for them to really be stuck in my head, to really know them. That person did not make any impact on me at all versus the first one and the third one. And so for me, I am always trying to impact every student, maybe little or big. I'm trying to make an impact. And so I do look at those 3 as a guidance to how I want to advise. But I will say this, if I didn't do first year experience, if I didn't do housing, that would have definitely reshaped how I advise as well. Because that first year experience piece is really important, because if you don't understand the freshman woes, the freshman concerns and understandings, then you will have a definitely hard time advising freshmen. And then housing, let's just be real and honest. In advising, we talk about everything. Nothing is hidden. And I want to make sure my kids are good. So I'm always asking, is your financial aid good? Is your housing good? Because sometimes they just get narrow-minded and think of that one particular thing, but everything is connected. And I don't want them to have to deal with the BS, which is my class got dropped because I didn't do my financial aid. If I remind you at that time on how to go about it, then you won't deal with that. And that is what I'm trying to prevent for any of my students, is less bumps in the road. You're going to have the bumps, but let's not have mountains. Let's have molehills, because you can get over those.
Yeah, no, I'm intrigued. I'm listening. I'm liking this. So, your college life.
How's my college life?
I guess it probably changed a lot, huh? Was it different for all 3 schools?
It was different. Yes, it was different from all 3 schools. My college life it was interesting. So first school was at HBCU. So like I said, all black school.
What does HBCU mean? I'm sorry.
It's okay. HBCU means historically black colleges and universities.
Okay.
I had to
you.
remember that. No problem. So that one for me was challenging because I never grew up in an all-black community. So going to all-black school, it really blew my mind in a lot of ways. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel comfortable. I had met a lot of great people there. I'm still connected to a lot of them. I had a great time my freshman year, but then there was just a lot of things that I'm just like, I just didn't feel comfortable. And for me, if I'm not comfortable, I'm not going to stay. I'm not going to force that. So I left. I left on my own, and that's when I really felt like I was an adult. Because my mom kind of did everything up until that point, and when I was like, nope, I'm gone. I did my own application, I did my financial aid, I did everything, and then I told her, oh yeah, I'm transferring to another school. So that was a great experience. I don't regret it. I will always do it again. If somebody said, would you do it again? Yes, because it taught me more about my culture and traditions. But at the end of the day, I knew the world was not going to be that, and I wanted to be somewhere where I was going to be comfortable. So UNO. UNO was probably the biggest influence during my time. I didn't really do a lot while I was at Southern. I was peeking through like a regular freshman, but I really got involved at UNO. UNO, I was a RA. I was a resident assistant in housing, meaning I got free housing. I was a desk assistant, which is kind of connected to that. So if you want to be a desk assistant and then move up to be an RA if you don't get that RA that first time. I was an orientation leader. I was like in 3 other organizations just as members. Like I really participated at that school. I enjoyed the college experience. I joined a fraternity, Alpha Phi Omega, and I was just having a ball. But the issue was school slipping, and I wasn't really focused. I did end up changing my major during that time because I wasn't focused. And I'm happy that I changed my major. I am glad that I ended up getting a degree in history. But UNO was a large institution. For me, I just got swallowed up in the fun. The thing that really changed that was Katrina. When I left and lost everything, for me, I never treated Katrina as, I never tried to feel like a victim. You know, it's a situation that happened. I lost everything. Okay, I got to deal with it, right? But I'm not going to sit here and cry. I mean, I'm going to cry because the shit hurts,
I'm
right?
going to use it as an excuse.
Right. I'm not going to use it as an excuse and play the victim and everybody's, oh, Ashley. No. I mean, at the end of the day, I lost stuff, but I'm still here. But I realized in that moment, that time, I was playing too much in school, and I felt like Katrina was a way for me to get my shit back together, to be quite honest. So when I got to Augusta, smaller school, so we're going from HBCU, black school, large institution, University of New Orleans, large institution, predominantly international students when I was there, to Augusta State, small liberal school, where I got to really know my professors, to a point where if they were like, Ashley, I'm disappointed in you, it stung. It felt like my mom and my dad was telling me I'm disappointed in you.
I didn't know you ever disappointed anybody.
I got to know my professors, I got to meet friends, but I really just focused on my friendships, my classes, and just really graduating instead of really trying to get out there. Now, I will say, I did have an on-campus job, so I did do that, but that's because for me, school was a focal point, and I wanted the on-campus job because I knew they weren't going to make me do more than 20 hours. I also knew working at the school as a student assistant, they always understand the student comes first before the assistant. So even when I had my student assistants, if I didn't have no work for them, do your schoolwork. I don't care if you have to read, whatever, do your schoolwork because this is an opportunity for you to do it while you're getting paid. All 3 experiences or all 3 colleges have left a lasting impression on me, but it also helped me grow into the person I have become as well. So yeah, all three different schools, but I wouldn't change it for the life of me.
Does being an advisor affect your personal life? I mean, do you worry about going out and having a drink at a bar and running into one of your students or something, something like that?
I will say this. I do love working in higher ed. I've ran into a couple of students at a club before, But this was when I was doing like first year in housing, and it was weird because we're close in age range, we're around the same group, um, and so you either have to stop going to those places so that way you don't blur those lines. I didn't do that. What I told my students is work is work, home is home. Well, who I am at home is who I am at home, and you don't get to see all of me at work because this is my professional place. So treat it as it is. So when we at work, we're gonna keep it professional, and when I'm at home or I'm out and about, we can be a little bit lax, but don't think you can bring that lax into the professional, because I'm gonna cut you off and let you know I'm not your friend at the end of the day. I'm here to get my stuff, get you to where you need to go, and I'm here to do a job. So it can be a little challenging, especially when I did first year, but being as an advisor now, no, I think the challenging part now is setting boundaries, so that way my energy doesn't get sapped. I see a lot of students all day, and I get exhausted, I get tired, mentally, not physically, but more mental, and then I do pick up energy, and so what I try also to do is keep those boundaries so I don't absorb that energy and give it to somebody else as well. So it can be, you have to find a balance when you're in these worlds. Even K through 12, they have to find a balance, just like us in the collegiate world. We have to find a balance, but once you find that balance, then you can really get going, because a lot of us have been in the game for about 10-15 years. Those first 5 years can be rough, so learn who you are, set those boundaries early, and then it becomes easier over time because the students will give you that respect that you need.
Well, my next question was going to be if you had any advice for anybody that was thinking about being an advisor, but I feel like you just touched on some of those. Do you have anything to add to that?
Anybody that wants to be an advisor, it's really not that hard, to be quite honest. You really just need a bachelor's degree, so don't feel like you have to have that master's. What I want you to take with you being an advisor, you have to take color out the equation. You're seeing all students at that school, and color has to be out. You have to give the white student the same information you give the black student, to the Hispanic student, to the Asian student. When you gyp a student the information that they need based on color, and sometimes I understand it is an unconscious thing, but that means you have to open up your conscious area and unlock those conscious things, so that way you give these students the information. And I'm sorry to say this, you guys, I love my students and I work hard to make sure they're good, and I hate bad advisors because you fuck them up, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that, but you really do. And then I have to come in, fix the situation, calm them down, and get them moving on their track. And that's not fair to the student. At the end of the day, they pay too much to have a bad advisor. So if you're thinking about being an advisor, have people skills, communication skills, have your boundaries, be open. One thing my students love is that I'm open. I share everything, because my thing is, sometimes a student needs to know that somebody went through it too, so that way they know how to navigate it. Or they're like, okay, I wasn't the only person that went through it, somebody else has been through it, I can do this. And that's what they need. I mean, you don't have to be their friend, but they want to know they have somebody on their side. And if you're on their side, they'll treasure you all the way to the end. I promise you that. If you're on their side and you get them through, they're always, yes, they'll always remember you. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, that's your passion. That you're coming out. You know, that's your passion, coming out into your form. So, if I went back to college, I would want you to be my advisor.
Everybody says that.
I feel like you're like my life advisor now. So you know.
I mean, I just want the best for everybody, no matter where you're at. And life is hard.
Everybody should want that advisor or not. So.
Yeah, but unfortunately, not everybody is me, and I can respect that. But if you find a good advisor, don't let them go, because they're gonna help you.
And tell them that you love them and that you appreciate what they're doing for you.
And it's okay if you don't. It really is, because I get it. You guys are, the typical student is between 18 and 24. Your mind is so into other things. We are just like a blip in your world. But sometimes that blip can really transport you into another place. So I always tell people I get my gratification from my students, not my coworkers, not my boss, because sometimes they will never tell you how good you are. But those students that remember you, they will tell you. They may not tell you that first year, but I promise you 5 years, 10 years down the line, when you're not even thinking about them because you've moved on to other students,
You'll get an invite to their wedding.
you'll get an invite to a wedding, or you'll get that email saying, I still hear you in my head every day, pushing me through. So if you're good at what you do, if you're passionate at what you do, keep doing it. And if you have to find another way of doing it, do it that way as well.
That's all I got for you.
Well, that's great, because I don't have no more tears to spare. Thank you, Kim, for asking me these questions. I wanted you guys to get to know a little bit about me so you can understand why I've built this platform. If you have any questions about my life, my journey, or if you're trying to get into higher education and you're trying to get your foot in the door, you can always email me. Please like, share, and subscribe. But other than that, thank you for taking this time to hang out with me and Kim. I hope you like my answers. But other than that, enjoy your day and have a good one. Bye. Oh, I didn't think I was going to cry.
You know what I was thinking? Was we should have